mostly fiction, but very clever. This year, more than ever, I've felt in a partnership with this group of seniors. We're in it together, in the trenches, side by side, in the spirit of discovery. They would bring me articles they thought I'd appreciate. We would argue and haggle over test questions. Sometimes I'd even solicit their advice. I seldom took it, but I asked it. But I definitely fed off their energy and curiosity, and I hope that they recognize my appreciation for their efforts. Class of 2014, I'm very honored to be asked to speak at your graduation. And I assume you are not quite sick of me yet. It's either that or everyone else they asked said no. I was nervous in preparing this speech, worried that I'd already used up all my best good advice material. 2 years ago, I stood on the stage and told the graduates that I wasn't impressed with them graduating high school, that to truly impress me, they'd have to do something special. I challenged them to maximize their college experience and take advantage of the fertile ground of college to at least plant the seeds of their future impact on the world, not just to see it as a four-year party. I challenged them to do something, to be resilient, to embrace difference, and to not fear failure. I challenged them to live a healthy lifestyle and not be afraid of the difficult choices. I challenged them to choose the pain of discipline over the pain of regret, and to be humble, compassionate, and forgiving. But most of all, I challenged them to not wait, stressing that young people can change the world. In fact, young people must change the world. Then last year at Senior Chapel, I spoke again, offering up my best sage advice. I talked about wisdom. I spoke about becoming less dangerous by becoming aware of the categories of things we know, including, most importantly, the stuff we don't know that we don't know. I cautioned that going through college, staying inside the lines, would limit them to learning only those things that they already knew they didn't know, but that learning beyond the required curriculum and beyond the classroom would illuminate those things they never knew that they didn't know, and that's the wisdom they should be seeking. So what new and motivating material would I come up with for this year? Searching for an inspiration, a source of new wisdom, I recall a book I read recently called The Wisdom of Psychopaths. How appropriate. But then I thought I should probably talk about something that applies to more than just food. I suspect you all have the desire to be happy and successful, and I assure you that all of us here today want that same thing for you. But success is an arbitrary term. Merriam-Webster defines success as the attainment of wealth, respect, or fame. But Hall of Fame basketball coach John Wooden defined it a little differently. He told people that success was the peace of mind you got from knowing you worked hard and did your best. One is measured from the outside, the other completely internal. Neither one is wrong. There's a lot of middle ground there. And that's what I want you to consider, that space. What does success mean to you? How do you measure it? If I asked every one of you, I'd get 100 different answers, and that's exactly as it should be, as long as your definition is just that, yours. So what might success look like to you? Some of you might say that success is following your passion. Mike Rowe, the Dirty Jobs guy, he said that that instead, he has profiled hundreds of people who do things 40 hours a week that most of us couldn't stomach for 40 seconds. Sewer inspection, roadkill removal. What he found, though, was that the people with these dirty jobs were down to earth, balanced, and fairly well compensated. But are they successful? Merriam-Webster may not think so, but I can hear John Wooden applauding from here. He would say they're successful because they do their jobs well and are happy. Not because of fame or fortune or fulfilling a lifetime passion to shovel manure, but because they figured out how to be passionate about whatever they're doing. Michael's description of me is slightly skewed. I didn't set out with a passion to be a teacher. I wanted to be a fireman, or an astronaut, or a professional soccer player. I went to school and studied biomedical engineering and then neuroscience, assuming I would go to medical school, but at 22 years old, I truly didn't know what I was passionate about, but I needed a job. So I got one, teaching. And I discovered what I was, not what I wanted to do. I discovered I was a teacher and a coach, and I tried to bring my passion to my classroom, to the field every day. Your passion, your success, may not be what you do, but how you do it. Like Nicole said at her baccalaureate, right now you have a world of opportunity laid out in front of you. Try them. Try lots of them, and put your whole heart into whatever you're doing. Sewer inspections aside, you might just find your success on the journey. But I wonder what the world of your journey will look like. We only have to consider how massively different the world is today than when I graduated high school 24 years ago. No cell phones, no email, no internet, no laptop computers. It's a wonder we got anything done. Or maybe it's not. We've seen an incredible amount of change in the world, in technology, and how we relate to it and rely on it. What will the next 24 years bring? The Industrial Revolution was built on the steam engine, and it changed humanity. As it multiplied muscle power, so humans could build and move things bigger and faster than ever before. With machines able to help them do their work, people had time to pursue other tasks. New industries developed, and new technologies were put to work to solve old problems. Now we live in the digital revolution, multiplying brain power instead of muscle power. You have more computational power in the palm of your hand than the astronauts took to the moon. Technologies that were once science fiction are now reality. Cars that drive themselves, factories and warehouses run by robots rather than people, unmanned drones delivering your Amazon purchases to your doorstep. It's wireless and high-speed and virtual and interactive and Web 2.0, 3.0, the dizzying pace of innovation ever accelerating. And the next big revolution? It will be the application of biotechnology and material science. You're going to live in a world of unlocked genetic code, of personalized medicine and gene therapy. You will be outfitted with data collection implants that record and transmit information about your impending health conditions directly to your doctor so she can treat you before you're even sick. Tissues and organs will be cloned from your own cells to replace worn out and damaged parts. Cosmetic surgery will shift from breast enhancements to brain enhancements. And cancer will go the way of the dodo bird. You will be eating lab-grown, cholesterol-free steaks made humanely from cloned cells the size of genetically engineered drought-resistant veggies. You will engineer microbes to break down pollutants. You will develop new systems to turn wastewater into potable water, and energy will be green, abundant, and inexpensive as you develop better materials and new processes. But this world of the future, with all of its advancements, will be full of uncertainties and challenges, and this is where you have to make your mark. You have to view uncertainties as opportunities and responsibilities. Some of you will create and perfect these technologies, others of you will decide if we should. And if so, how will you implement and regulate them? While these technologies can narrow social economic disparities and benefit everyone, there's a chance that these advances could have unintended consequences, widening gaps and creating new categories of social and economic division. As much as we need innovators to create our future, we will need informed policymakers to help guide us through the murky, moral and ethical waters they will present. So as we give more tasks over to machines and computers, we free up time to tackle bigger problems. And with the advancement of biotechnology and material science, we'll have new potential solutions. What will you spend your time on? T.S. Eliot once said, "The greatest ages didn't contain more talent, they wasted less." In this room, right now, this group in front of me contains a massive amount of talent. The question is, what will you do with it? And then, when it really gets hard, when talent isn't enough, what will you do then? Because talent doesn't equal grit. And grit may be the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. The ability to maintain passion and perseverance for long-term goals. A type of stamina, a doggedness, a recognition that it isn't about resources, but resourcefulness. An unwillingness to waste talent or time when something really needs to get done. It's that grit that makes the difference. But there's a catch. And I don't mean to be a downer, but that it that needs to get done, that it you're working so hard to accomplish, can often be pretty elusive, especially when you're dealing with the big things. Poverty, hunger, social injustice, they'll never be completely eradicated. They'll always be a moving target, and that's okay. Your goals should be high enough that it's nearly impossible to meet them. You should always be a work in progress, shifting and growing right along with you. The artist Michelangelo said the greatest dangers for most of us is not that we aim too high and miss the mark, but that we aim too low and reach it. He also said, Lord, grant that I desire more than I can accomplish. These bring to mind one of his most famous works, the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, where we see Adam with his finger outstretched, close to, but not quite, touching the hand of God. You see, success can be found in the reaching, not just the arriving. But you won't reach alone. Humans are inherently social animals. The need to connect is deeply ingrained in our species, and it would seem that technology is making it easier and more convenient. I know, because I have 713 Facebook friends. However, there's a paradox of connectedness in our modern world. As our digital social networks get more robust, what is happening to our immediate social networks? The world is getting smaller, but is it losing its intimacy? In her book, Alone Together, Sherry Turkle says we expect more from technology and less from each other because technology appeals to us where we're most vulnerable. We're designing technologies that give us the illusion of companionship without the demands of friendship. We turn to technology to help us feel connected in ways that we can comfortably control. We are denying each other our full attention and ourselves a chance for self-reflection. We're present, but our presence is not felt. Technology offers us wonderful and useful tools, but remember, they are no substitute for meaningful and lasting connections. And now, if you'll indulge me for a moment, I'm going to give you all a sense of what my classroom's like. It typically starts like this. It sounds familiar to me. So I was listening to this really cool podcast on the way into work today. They were describing some amazing findings about the research into the metamorphosis of butterflies. This is right about the time their eyes roll back in their head. While still a caterpillar, scientists condition them to avoid a certain odor by associating it with electric shock. Then the caterpillar goes into its pupa state, its cocoon, the crystal. And if you open it up during that time, you'll find that the caterpillar dissolves into goo, a slimy mass of gooey stuff before it reforms itself into a butterfly. It's not what you would think. It's not like the caterpillar sprouts wings and legs and slowly turns into a butterfly. It completely dissolves and reforms itself. That's pretty cool. But here's the cool part. The butterfly, once it emerges from the cocoon, still knows to avoid the odor. The memory made it through the transformation. It made it through the goo. How cool is that? It's pretty much geek central in my classroom, I know. Now the reason I tell you this is to ground you in a way. Yes, we all want you to go off to college, turn to goo, and reconfigure yourselves into a beautiful butterfly. But don't forget the odor. Not the varsity locker. I'm talking about remembering what we've been taught here. Parents, teachers, friends who've been with you for 4 years, 7 years, some of you 14 years. All of us have been teaching you, supporting you, rooting for you, and challenging you so you be prepared for this moment. So you have a solid framework to build on. That's what you need to remember. What you've been taught, what you've learned, and who's going to be here backing you up no matter what. Those connections, these connections you've made here, are something to hold on to. I know. I'll be holding on to what I've learned from my own connections with the senior class. Among them, a student who since second grade has been committed to raising awareness for juvenile diabetes research, and this year traveled halfway around the world as the youngest representative to the World Conference on Diabetes. And a student who has served over 500 hours for the North Dallas Shared Ministries to give back to his local community. And a student who used her passion for dance to start an organization to help build bridges in a centuries-old conflict between Catholics and Protestants in Belfast, Ireland. And a student whose work in Uganda is making possible leadership and educational opportunities for other young people. And I was so impressed as I witnessed some of the most understated and humble senior athletes overcome injuries and other obstacles to lead their teams to playoffs, district championships, and once more their fourth state championship in a row. And next week we have students traveling to Chicago for the National Quiz Bowl Championships and a theater troupe that has performed over 17 different shows while also populating the top of the academic honor roll. This is just a sample of the splendid company I keep. Impressive young men and women who are ready to apply their gifts of wisdom, honor, and service. Your futures are wide open, ready for you to design, as engineers and research scientists, social workers, teachers, and businessmen. Doctors and lawyers, artists and athletes, innovators and policymakers. My hope is that each of you go forth, seeing opportunity where others see uncertainty. Living life with passion and grit, setting goals that stretch and challenge, fostering authentic personal connections, and most of all, I hope each of you finds success defined by you alone. Thank you, and may God bless you.